Warning, the content ahead may be frightening or distressing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. If you like this content, please consider linking the video and subscribing to the channel. I never met a victim. That was the point. The disaster simulation department doesn't handle emergencies. It handles outcomes. We work far from impact zones, in a building with reinforced glass and redundant power. The kind of place designed to stay operational while everything else fails. My badge didn't say response. It didn't say prevention. It said assessment. Each morning, my terminal populated with new scenarios. They arrived already formatted. Event classification, time to escalation, infrastructure strain, casualty estimates, fiscal absorption index. I reviewed them for consistency. That was my role. If the numbers aligned, I approved the model. If they didn't, I flagged the discrepancy. I was told the system handled the rest. We were trained very carefully. We didn't say dead. We said loss units. We didn't say people. We said population segments. We didn't say avoidable. We said cost prohibitive. The language mattered. Emotional precision reduced efficiency. Some scenarios were disturbing, not because of scale, but because of restraint. A bridge collapse where reinforcement crews were available but never dispatched. A hospital power failure where generators existed but were classified as non-essential deployment. The projected casualty numbers were modest. The system labeled them acceptable loss events. I assumed this was triage modeling. You can't save everyone. That was the logic. One field always appeared at the bottom of every scenario: net outcome value. At first, I thought it referred to reconstruction cost. I was wrong. Net outcome value was calculated after casualty projection. Higher deaths didn't always lower the score. Sometimes they raised it. I flagged one of those. The response came back instantly. Outcome value confirmed. Long-term optimization applied. Optimization of what wasn't specified. They called them simulations. That word did a lot of work. Simulations implied safety, distance, hypothesis, but the data streams were wrong. Cellular congestion maps updated in real time. Emergency call volumes spiked mid-review. Social unrest indicators populated fields before the event occurred. That shouldn't happen. I told myself the system was just very good. One afternoon, a scenario loaded without anonymization. No placeholder ID, an address, a timestamp, a hospital name I recognized. The casualty estimate was already finalized. The event hadn't happened yet. I tried to flag it. The system rejected the action. Event status: in progress. That was the first time I felt something break. Asked my supervisor what in progress meant for a simulation. He didn't correct me. He said prevention contaminates outcome analysis. I asked him if anyone was notified. He said HAT notification biases response. That was the conversation. The truth didn't arrive dramatically. It leaked in fragments. A procurement memo discussing casualty amortization. A budget report showing disaster zones listed as revenue neutral or revenue positive. A technical document explaining that certain populations produced higher long-term economic return when displaced or deceased than when stabilized. I searched for the word simulation. It didn't appear in the core system documentation, only in training materials. There are no simulations. There never were. The system predicts disasters with terrifying accuracy: weather, infrastructure decay, human behavior, political response. Everything is forecasted months in advance. But prediction doesn't obligate intervention. Intervention costs money, and money must justify itself. So disasters are ranked, not by severity, by profitability of outcome. Some events are prevented, others are allowed, some are quietly encouraged through neglect. I wasn't verifying models, I was accounting casualties, confirming whether real deaths aligned with projected value, ensuring loss stayed within profitable margins. My ignorance wasn't accidental. If I believed the data was real, my judgment might falter. Empathy introduces variance. Variance reduces reliability. So they kept the word simulation. And people like me stayed efficient. The final report I processed before leaving involved a coastal evacuation failure, storm surge, delayed alerts, transportation bottlenecks. The net outcome value was positive. I recognized the region. My parents lived there. I searched the system for their names. Names aren't stored, only outcomes. I understand now why no one stopped me when I left. The system doesn't need belief. It needs consistency. If I hadn't done the job, someone else would have. And the disasters would still happen. Because they're not failures. They're approved outcomes. Somewhere right now, a forecast is being reviewed. A number will be checked. A decision will be made not to intervene. And when it happens, it won't be called a choice. It will be called acceptable loss. And someone like me will sign off on it, without ever being told it was real.